Donna Perino is one of the most reliable and trustworthy voices in American media. Donna's grace and strength have gained her admiration, from the White House podium to millions of viewers on Fox News. But her journey started in the quiet, harsh plains of Wyoming, far from the world of power and influence. It's not just that Dana became famous. It's also that she became incredibly strong by going through some of the hardest things in life. The early years, resilience began in Wyoming. On May 9, 1972, Dana Perino was born in Evanston, Wyoming, a tiny town. Evanston was far from the bright lights and large cities that would later characterize Dana's career. The town was so small that even the silence seemed to resound. Her family moved away when she was just 2 years old, but Dana never forgot Wyoming, its size, and how harsh it could be. Wyoming's harsh scenery wasn't simply a place. It was a key part of her story that shaped her life and taught her the first lessons in strength and perseverance. The wide open skies and tranquil seclusion of Wyoming gave Dana an unseen strength that would guide her through life's challenges. The wind, which never stopped, became a symbol of the problems of life that are constantly there. Dana would eventually remember that Wyoming, even though she could scarcely remember it, lingered on in her bones. These early years gave her the strength to get through tough times in both her personal and professional life. She doesn't remember much about Wyoming, but the lessons she learned there are still very much a part of who she is. She learned early on that life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just keeps going. Growing up in Wyoming taught Dana to be strong without drawing attention to herself, to endure quietly, and to meet problems head-on. Dana learned from this atmosphere that real resilience is not about how you handle problems, but how you deal with them with grace and steadiness. The foundation of strength, from Wyoming to Denver. When Dana was 2 years old, her family moved from the windy plains of Wyoming to Denver, Colorado. Denver was very different from her early years. It was bigger, busier, and full of chances. But for Dana, it was the start of a new chapter in her life. The things she had learned in Wyoming would continue to define her future. Denver was not a rich or grand city. The Perino home was simple and built on the values of duty, discipline, and emotional stability. Leo, Dana's father, had a big impact on the principles she learned as a child. Dana learned from her father how important it is to be intellectually curious. Her mother also gave Dana the emotional support she needed. Dana learned the value of emotional discipline and resilience from her mother's constant support. Dana grew up in Denver, where deeds spoke louder than words. She learned how to hide her feelings and stay calm in this situation. In a world full of noise, she realized that being able to stay quiet, focused, and calm may make a difference. Dana learned these lessons through everyday actions and things that weren't said. They were the basis of her adult life. The discipline, emotional strength, and quiet strength she developed in her childhood home would be put to the test and improved over the course of her career. The ranch that made her strong, learning grit. Every summer, Dana would go back to her grandfather's ranch in Wyoming. It was a safe haven for her and a place where she could grow. Dana understood what it really meant to work hard, be disciplined. There were no exceptions for age, size, or gender at the ranch. Everyone expected Dana to do her part, and she did. At only 9 years old, she was already getting up before dawn to carry water. The work was hard and never-ending, but it showed Dana how important it is to be tough and work hard. In the dust and sweat of this place, Dana discovered what grit really means. Not as a badge of honor, but as something she needed to get through each day. The ranch was a place where hard work had meaning, where routine gave things structure. Dana would eventually think of these summers as the most important times in her early life. At the ranch, she learned how to deal with hard times without complaining, how to keep going when she was tired, and how to stay focused on the task at hand, no matter how hard it looked. The hard work on the ranch was very different from the refined life in Washington, D.C. that Dana would eventually go into. But it was in Wyoming's wide-open areas, where she was alone, that Dana's strength was first tested and became stronger. The ranch taught her how to be independent and how to work hard, which helped her throughout her career. This early exposure to the harsh facts of life, together with the self-control needed to get through it, formed Dana's character in ways that would eventually show up in her work life. Early work. Things I had to give up and things I learned. During her early adolescent years, Dana worked hard, put in long hours, and had a strong sense of duty. While most of her friends had fun summers, Dana got up before dawn to work at a local PBS station, and then at a radio station. These first occupations weren't fun or easy, but they were required. Dana learned the importance of hard work, patience, and discipline by balancing school with late-night duties. Dana was often the only person working at the PBS station. She set up cameras, wrote scripts, and ran tapes. She learned how to make stories important even when no one else was paying attention. The work was quiet and isolated, which taught her that being a true professional isn't about getting credit or popularity. It's about performing the job correctly, even when no one is watching. This early experience with the media would help her in her future job in communications by teaching her how important it is to be ready, accurate, and dependable. Dana realized how important it was to be independent by the time she was a teenager. Growing up poor had given her a strong sense of duty. There were times when all she had to carry her through a long day was a cup of coffee and a bagel she borrowed. These early sacrifices helped her succeed later by showing her that hard effort, persistence, and the determination to keep trying, even when things are tough, are all necessary for success. The missing piece, a childhood memory that was lost. When Dana's family relocated from Denver to a new house, they forgot to take with them one of her favorite childhood things, an illustrated children's Bible. Even while this loss seemed modest, it left Dana feeling empty. The Bible was always with her on quiet mornings when she would curl up with it, read the familiar pictures, and find comfort in its stories. Someone who watched Dana's TV show sent her the Bible she had lost as a youngster. It was too much for Dana to handle when she got it. Holding the worn pages in her hands brought back memories of her childhood, the warmth of those mornings, and how the Bible had helped her feel better. As the memories came rushing back, she let herself cry for the first time in years. It seemed like a part of her childhood had come back to her. Losing and then finding the Bible again was a powerful reminder that even the strongest people have scars from their history that they can't see. This moment meant more to Dana than just the Bible. It was a chance to think about the silent heartbreaks that shape us all. These losses, big and small, that we don't talk about, are frequently the things that push us to succeed and keep going, even when it seems like everything is changing all the time. The road to Washington. Going into the storm. Dana's trip to Washington, D.C. wasn't a road that was easy because of connections or privilege. Instead, it was a route marked by her drive to succeed, even when the odds were against her. Dana left the safety of her family's home in Denver and went into the unknown with nothing but her determination and a strong work ethic. She began her work in Washington as a staff assistant, where she answered phones, did errands, and took notes for people who were considerably more experienced in their jobs. It wasn't a fun job, but it let Dana watch, learn, and show what she could do. There was no one nearby to help her if something went wrong, therefore she had no relatives. Dana learned how important it is to create trust via hard effort and tenacity in this setting. Her big break came when she became Congressman Dan Schaefer's press secretary. At only 26, Dana was given a job that was much bigger than anyone thought she could handle at her age and with such little experience, but she met the task. Even when she was up against experienced staff members and reporters who didn't believe her, Dana stayed calm. She became known for being able to keep calm under pressure, think on her feet, and write clear and concise messages. Meeting Peter. Love in the middle of the mess. While dealing with the tough world of Washington politics in 1997, Dana met Peter McMahon, a businessman from the UK. Peter was 43, 3 years old, which was a lot older than Dana. He had already been married twice. At 25, Dana was focused on her profession and didn't have much time for romantic diversions. But their short talk on a flight from Denver to Chicago changed the trajectory of both of their lives. Peter recognized that Dana was focused and kind, and Dana was drawn to Peter's wisdom and experience. They gave each other their contact information and soon after started dating long distance. Even though they were far apart and Dana's job was hard, their relationship became stronger. They had a lot of problems in their relationship, such as the fact that they lived in different time zones and that Dana was always busy with work. But their relationship stayed strong, and in 1998, they got married in a small ceremony in South Carolina. The marriage wasn't a whirlwind romance. It was a choice to be together in a way that felt real and solid. Peter had 2 adult children from his first 2 marriages, and Dana never tried to change how they interacted with each other. Instead, she gave love and support without expecting anything in return. Dana and Peter built a life together that matched their jobs, their personal goals, and their love for one another. The White House, Dana's place of leadership. Dana's climb to the position of White House press secretary in 2005 was the result of years of hard effort, discipline, and personal sacrifice. Dana was only 33 when she became the press secretary, and she was the second woman to ever hold the job. She had to deal with a lot of problems in this job. There was a lot of pressure on the press conferences, and the media was always watching. But Dana stood her ground, showing time and time again that her calm demeanor and steady hand were exactly what the White House needed. Dana became a trusted voice in the country when she stood at the podium and answered harsh questions from the press. But there was a lot of strain, and she worked 14 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even though she had to work long hours and be watched all the time, Dana stayed calm, which made her popular with her co-workers and the public. Tony Snow was the mentor who helped her career. Before Dana, Tony Snow was the White House press secretary. He had a big impact on how Dana did her job. He was not only a mentor, but also a protector. He taught her how to stay calm and strong under pressure, even when everyone was watching. Dana was deeply affected by Tony's death in 2008. She learned a lot from him, not just how to do the job, but also how important it is for leaders to have emotional intelligence and be able to bounce back from setbacks. Dana had a hard time dealing with the fact that he died of cancer, but it was during this time of personal loss that Dana really showed her strength. She was standing at the stage, facing the press alone, putting into practice what Tony had taught her. A new chapter, moving beyond the White House. Dana wanted to take some time off after her time as White House press secretary. She traveled and volunteered, especially in South Africa, when President Bush's term ended in 2009. During this time, Dana was able to think about her years of duty and how they had affected her health and mental health. After she got back to the U.S., Dana had a successful career in television, where she worked as a political pundit and anchor for Fox News. She was perfect for national television since she had worked in Washington, could stay calm under pressure, and knew a lot about politics and government. Dana became a reliable source of news and analysis, sharing her thoughts with the same calmness and discipline she had developed over the years. A quiet life, Dana's house in Bay Head. Dana and her husband, Peter, enjoy a peaceful life now in Bay Head, New Jersey. After years of hard labor, both at the job and at home, she finally found a location where she could relax. Their home, where their dog Percy makes them laugh, is a safe place to get away from the craziness of public life. Dana's career is still important, but her priorities have changed. She has discovered calm in the little things in life, like going for walks on the beach with Peter. She may have left the White House and the world of high-stakes press conferences, but her legacy is still powerful. Dana's life shows how strong hard work and quiet strength can help you get through the toughest times in life. Dana Perino's tale shows that real power doesn't necessarily have to be loud or theatrical. When the world seems to be falling apart, it's the quiet strength that keeps someone going. Dana's legacy isn't just about what she did. It's also about how she stayed true to herself through hard times. If Dana's story has moved you, be sure to subscribe for more stories of courage and perseverance. Also, keep an eye out for more stuff that will help you deal with life's challenges with grace.